People who don't know what they're doing, right? Psychotics who have no idea. Those are very much in demand because they don't know what's being done to them. So the double agent reports back to a case officer. How do you know that the double agents are telling you the truth? How do you know that the double agents haven't gotten themselves together to tell you some story to get more money or to do what you want? Well, you need electronic eavesdropping. And that is where Able Danger comes in. I'm going to give you a version. I hope you've heard of Able Danger. It's been a big deal for the past 6 months or so. I'm going to try to show you what's involved. And this has to do with a guy who quit the Defense Intelligence Agency in October 2000 when he said, they're going to blow up a battleship. They're going to blow up a warship in Yemen. And they said, no, 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 forget it, go home. Then they blew up exactly one of these ships. But it's more complicated than it seems. Now here's Able Danger. Founded in 1999 by Hugh Shelton, the commander of military forces on the day of, and a guy called Shoemaker. I want you to know who Shoemaker is because he was then the boss of the Special Forces Command, SOCOM. Now these are the suspects. If you look at the Army in general, the suspects are the Special Forces Command and the Intelligence Command. Those are the crazy ones. That's where the criminals are in large numbers. And this Shoemaker, well, he's the head of the Army today. So he's been promoted. Another good thing to do. Look for the crime, then see who gets promoted after the crime. These are things that can't really be hidden, right? They can't be hidden. So Able Danger has a staff of 11 people plus contractors, one of them called Orion Scientific. And they say, we're doing data mining. We're finding all about, we take the secret stuff and we put it together with the public domain stuff and we come up with a picture of what Al-Qaeda is doing. This is related to something called LIWA, Land Warfare Information Activity. One of the people involved has his own group of the Defense Intelligence Agency, Stratus Ivy. Now, you're already getting fed up with these code names, right? But you gotta get serious now, because if you don't fight through this stuff, you can't understand. Because think about this. This is $500 billion a year. There are all these little people doing all these little things. You have to know about it. You can't sit back there and expect, you know, Democracy Now! To tell you, because they won't, right? So these people come up stuff with that Condi and Perry are both security risks because of China, but that's the least of what they do. Shoemaker, look at him. He retired in November 2000. He came back as the head of the Army in 2003. He's a Special Forces utopian. He was there at Desert One when they tried to go into Tehran and get the hostages out. So he has a history of defeats in Special Forces operations. And he fired, there was some kind of a faction fight in the military last summer. There was General Burns of TRADOC, the Training and Training Command. And in 2005, this guy Burns was fired by Shoemaker. So Shoemaker is a real dirty character. Four-star general. Four-star, yes, exactly. And so was Burns. Now, my thesis is Able Danger are the terrorist controllers. Mohammed Atta, he can't get through the day. He's got to have money. He's got to have help. Right? Some commonplaces about these guys. They can't find the men's room without the help of a CIA covert operation. There are people who are so inept that they can't get a driver's license in most states, except possibly New Jersey. They're basket cases. A lot of them are just basket cases. So they have to have a comprehensive backup operation. Now, Able Danger has a charter. According to Congressman Weldon, who's telling us all this stuff, Able Danger is tasked to manipulate, degrade, or destroy terrorist groups. As soon as they say manipulate, those are terrorist controllers. Okay? Terrorist controllers, case officers, babysitters for Atta. The main consumer of Able Danger intelligence is Major General Jeffrey Lambert, Special Forces. And he tells them, he says, look, they have a chart with all these Al-Qaeda characters, including Atta, before the fact, before September 11th. And he says, wait a minute. You can't go investigating those people. You can't tell the FBI or the CIA anything about them. And he gets these yellow Post-it notes, and he puts one on Atta's face saying, that reminds you, you can't share information about them. Now, if you read the official version, they're very adamant that Atta and company were not in the U.S. in early 2000 and that the U.S. government knew nothing about them. However, the NSA was monitoring their calls. I put this up here also to call your attention to a nice book, Morgan and Henschel, 9/11 Revealed, The Unanswered Questions. These are two British guys who published a book last year that probably deserves more attention than it's gotten. And there may be more Able Dangers. According to the main whistleblower on Able Danger was a high-risk, high-gain operation. Some of these are still ongoing. Of course, for every significant terror group, there has to be a terrorist controller group that tells them what to do, that gets them out of bed in the morning and puts them to bed at night. Now, specifically, they knew about these people living in the Bronx and Brooklyn in early 2000, and then in Wayne, New Jersey. They're told that they can't share it with the FBI. That's, of course, exactly what a mole does, protect the patsies. And they told, of all people, Philip Zelikow, the head of the staff of the 9/11 Commission, and he ignored everything. So the 9/11 Commission, just based on this, is a fraud and has to be thrown out. In other words, it's time to reopen 9/11. But this is the least of it, because they lied, 6 or 7 different ways before they were finally caught. But what nobody has pointed out, to my knowledge except for myself, is that these are not just people who are observing the terrorists. They're observing them because they control them, and they want to make sure that their orders are followed. There's also a famous flowchart from Weldon, which he claims he gave to the White House in September '01, and the chart has been, he said, I'll show it to Bush, and the chart, according to some accounts at least, has disappeared, even though it's got Atta on it. So they knew exactly who these people were, of course, because they were telling them what to do. Now, most incriminating, in the spring of 2000, Able Danger destroyed 2.5 terabytes of data, equal to 1/4 of the printed books in the Library of Congress. A large number, right? Your 4 million, 5 million books destroyed. Now here's a guy, Eric Kleinsmith, of the Army Land Information Warfare Activity, destroyed the data. Now people have heard of Dave Frasca of the FBI, right? The guy who ignored the Phoenix warning and the Minneapolis warning. How about this guy? He should be just as notorious. He's the one who destroyed 2.5 terabytes of data on orders from who? The main lawyer of the Special Forces. So the Special Forces lawyer says, destroy that data or you'll be arrested. Literally what he tells them. And then, later on as the thing unfolds, in March '01, and then in spring of '04, yes, they destroy more data. Now I'm telling you, that is a huge scandal. And the scandal is not that they told the 9/11 Commission something that the 9/11 Commission ignored. The scandal is that this group was running terrorism. And here's the other part of the analysis. Every year there's a drill called Able Warrior. Able Warrior, again I have to, there's just no way around these names. This is what these names that they make up for themselves. Able Warrior is a yearly drill of the Special Forces. It's worldwide, and the theme is only one thing: anti-terrorism. Now if you look at the way that they do this, they have drills in binary pairs. One side pretends to be the defenders, and the other side pretends to be the attackers. Okay? So if Able Warrior are the defenders, anti-terrorism, what's Able Danger? Able Danger is a troop of attackers to be used to simulate attacks during anti-terror drills. In other words, those double agents are there as actors, if you like, in normal drills, but then at a certain point, wham, the drill goes live and something happens, and they find themselves caught up in 9/11. Now, at the level of speculation, there's another code name that keeps coming out in the middle of all the Able Danger stuff, and it is Door Hop Galley. And I don't think anybody knows what it is, except some guy on the internet who says